fire escape engineers. This is the rear of fire escape in Boston, rear of Intervale. What we have here is a fire escape that looks like somebody came in here and did some repairs. So there is some evidence of bolts swapped out. Okay. We have severe problems with the gratings. So all the gratings are rotting in the middle, in between. There is markings. It's an all welded fire escape. We got rust still in the treads from previous markings. I think it was 5 years ago. Looks like they just came in and welded it. They didn't fix it. They just welded it into position. So I'll discuss that. We have some through bolt issues into the building that needs to be further investigated. Looks like there's a little bulge coming out. There is definitely a tilt out. There's at least a 1 inch drop. You can see by that extension why. So we need to investigate that nobody cut the through bolt on the inside. So we definitely need to verify the bolts on the inside here. This whole platform, as you can see, she's leaning down. So the grating, the same situation in all the buildings, and that is that there's spacer issues and they've been marked. So all the spacers have been marked for repair, and look at all the rust growing on them. Okay, so hold on a second, I got a phone. So grading, but see all the markings. Welded connections needed a clip, a bolt, and a bolt. Didn't happen. But somebody came in here and welded all kinds of issues here. So see, all that got welded instead of repaired. See all that welded, even though it got marked 5 years ago. Some of these marks are old. Treads got problems in the spacers also. Again, you can't do this anymore. No more welding. EPA doesn't let. It's a $35,000 fine. But look, all the treads were marked. Still rust in the connection. Space inside. And from underneath, you can see all the rust. Every single one of these welds is compromised. So we need to put in bolts. Then you got to cut all the welds. Separate treads out. Then clean it, put it back, and rebolt it. No welding because of the EPA guidelines regarding lead. See, all these previously marked. Somebody just came in here, left all the rust inside the connection, and just tack welded it. And most likely somebody certified this thing, but basically did a welding repair, which basically is not a repair. And they secured these struts from falling. I see all kinds of welds. They didn't even prime, but the treads has spacer issues. The treads all have to come out and go back in, rebolted, not welded. The grating, as you can see, a lot of these gratings are already pre-marked. They were never dealt with. They just stayed the way they were. So those are all marked. So 100% of the treads needs that underneath spacer reinforcement on all this. As you can see, if you look down here, you can see all the rust. Okay, so water's getting in from above. So every one of these welds is compromised. So 100% of all the treads here. Look at the spacing. I can put my finger in here. See that? Okay, so there's rust in every one of these treads. Rust in 100% of those treads. There is some rebolting going on, but anytime there's a welded connection, I need a bolt to avoid having to X-ray or load test that weld. You give me a bolt here. There is no need to X-ray or load test. So some fastener swap out. Looks like whoever came in here threw some bolts just to appease the eyeballs. Did nothing with the grating. Welded every tread, and basically did not verify. So as you can see, the through bolt there's a through bolt here. And we need to verify that on the inside because there's definitely a bulge. You know, the fire escape is definitely leaning about 1 inch down on this. So again, every one of these treads is all welded. And as you can see, the tilt on that side straight ahead. And as you can see, somebody came in and just tack welded here and there. As you can see, water's getting in. Look at all that rust. So somebody came in here, most likely did a quick welding repair, took the money and basically did a welding repair in order to certify this fire escape 5 years ago. But this fire escape is in need pretty much of a full refurb. 100% of all the treads, 100% of all the railings are all welded. Some of the other railings, like they changed a few bolts just for the eyeball, but you're looking at a full refurb of these connections. So anywhere you have a welded connection, we need a bolt through so we can eliminate the need. And look at all that rust on all the treads. So some of these treads are, again, suspect, and we have to verify that any one of these connections that have bolts There's no rust behind there. Sealed that with silicone. And this fire escape needs a paint job. So it did get some quick welding repair, but it didn't get any paint job. So this fire escape, in order to pass, must be painted, must have all the welds rebolted, must have all the treads removed and then rebolted, and then it must verify the connections into the building through the inside to make sure that there's the bulge that we're seeing on the outside is not a wall defect, and that this fire escape has is stable. If need be, we can transfer the load from that fire escape to this fire escape down to the ground here. Same thing there to the ground. So if there's an issue with the wall, we can basically put posts. There's a nice pad here that we can use for that in case that becomes a concern. Any questions? Fire escape engineers, inspect the summary video, 866-649-0333.